Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it today. Today I wanted to talk to you about some state benefits for a specific state without naming the state until the end. So, it's kind of like the mystery state. Let's see if you can kind of guess what it is while we're going through it. Maybe you're aware. Obviously, you can look in the comments below or the description below and figure out the state probably pretty quickly because I'll have information in the comments on it. But wanted to go through it and see if we can go through it without naming the state while we're going through it until the end. And the reason why I'm doing this is I found out about a benefit in this state that changed recently, and it's super exciting because it's very impactful and will assist many more veterans in that state. So with that, let's go ahead and just roll through it here. This state, without naming the state, right? This state has 3 veteran homes. There's 3 veteran homes in this state. Veteran homes will provide care to veterans, anything from independent living type of a situation all the way through to memory care and skilled nursing care is typically what you'll find in these state veteran homes. So that's a great benefit that should definitely be taken advantage of if it's something that's needed. And it says here that these 3 veteran homes are open to honorably discharged wartime veterans, their spouse, and Gold Star parents. And then preference is given to residents of the state, as it should be. Next benefit that the state has here listed is a thing called Veterans Haven, which is a transitional housing program for homeless veterans. And they have a kind of like a 3-stage program for homeless veterans. One is bring them in and provide any sort of treatment that they may need, then kind of work on that self-healing and any other wraparound services, and then lastly, kind of a reintegration back into society. And, that's a great benefit there for homeless veterans in that state. The next one is some financial benefits. And if you are a resident, so with regard to income tax, it says here if your permanent home was in this state before entering the military, your active duty income is not subjected to any state taxes if you meet some of the following criteria. So just important to note that is there if you are in the military or getting ready to go into the military from this state. It's an important thing to know about. And again, I'm just kind of doing a high-level overview on these benefits to make sure that there's some awareness. And then we can always do a deep dive later, or you can go on to the website or contact the state directly as well. So the next one is veteran income tax deduction. Honorably discharged veterans qualify for a one-time $6,000 tax deduction in the year they were discharged from active duty. So that's great. And that's, to me, that's one of those, damn, I wish I would have known. So this is how we do this, right? We hit the thumbs up, we subscribe, we share, and it gets the word out there a little bit more than maybe what it was. So, and we need to, quite frankly, work with our congressional members to figure out a better way to get the state benefits into the hands of those that are getting out of the military. And, there might be some sort of some crosstalk, obviously, between your state legislators and the congressional members for that specific state, since it's state benefits, but it's going to a federally, discharging military member, right? Because you're part of the federal government as a military member. So there's some weight there on the congressional side. Anyway, let's move on. So the next one is the property tax deduction. And this is the piece that actually had some really good changes to it recently. And I'm going to save that one to the end because I'm actually going to read that directly from the state's website. The next one here, by skipping the property tax, is a catastrophic entitlement, which is just unbelievable. It's really a good thing. So permanently and totally disabled wartime residents of this state can qualify for a monthly payment of $150. It says that the veteran must have some qualifying disabilities and so forth, and you can definitely read more on that to see if you would qualify or if a loved one would qualify for that additional income. The next one is veterans' preference for state jobs. So a lot of states have that. This state is no different. It says disabled veterans with at least a 10% disability are given the highest preference. So that's good, because I think that some states might start off at a 30% or so, kind of like the federal government has a different tier for a 30% disabled veteran versus a lesser rated veteran. So that's great. Also, it says here the spouse of a disabled veteran is entitled to the same preference, which is also awesome. So if you or a spouse are looking for work within that state, as the state being the employer, to work for the state government, you would get that preference. The commercial driver's license, it says veterans who have had a military commercial driver's license are exempt from behind the wheel portion of that license exam. So that's smart and a good thing. Next, it says veterans status for pensions. Now, I read this a little bit, and this is pretty cool. So whether you're part of so if you work for the state government in any capacity, whether it's a public employee, a firefighter, a police officer, or teacher, fall in any of those categories as far as those retirement systems are concerned, there's some additional perks that come to you as the veteran. So you would be looking at things like, here it says veterans retirement is different than the standard retirement available to most enrolled in those public retirement fund options. So it's different. And it includes the ability to retire at the age of 55 with 25 years of service, and offers a more generous calculation for the maximum annual allowance during retirement. So whatever their retirement percentage is for the calculations, you as a veteran will receive a higher percentage than your peers at those organizations, which is pretty awesome. Next one is War Orphans Tuition Assistance. So children of military members who have passed away while in the military or due to a service-connected disability. Now here's the thing. For those that don't know, usually, now I can't guarantee it in this situation, but usually in these situations where you're talking about death due to a service-connected disability, on a death certificate, there's usually two spaces, one for the cause of death, and then there's a second spot where there's contributing causes to the death. And if a service-connected condition is listed as a contributing cause to the cause of death, then that counts for these types of benefits. So just something to keep in mind. So this allows the dependent children access to education, right? So there's more information on that for those that need it within this state. Hunting and fishing licenses, honorably discharged veterans can get a free hunting and fishing license. And I don't see any sort of percentage rating required, so it's just the fact that you're an honorably discharged, which is awesome. Next, there is a couple other things. There's also some state cemeteries, which is great. Free internment, so that's good to know. And then that's basically it for that. Now let's roll back over to the tax exemption, which for property tax. And this is really important to a lot of us, right? Because this is where a lot of money goes. So let me read this. 100% disabled veteran property tax exemption. Effective December 4th, 2020. So a couple years ago, 2 years ago, really. The state law eliminates the wartime service requirement for 100% totally and permanently disabled veterans property tax exemption. So, which means prior there was a wartime service requirement. They now have eliminated the wartime service requirement for that property tax exemption if you are 100% totally and permanently disabled with the VA. It says veterans must have active duty military service with an honorable discharge. Reservist and National Guard personnel must be called to active duty service to qualify. Active duty for training continues to be ineligible. If you are an honorably discharged veteran who was 100% permanently and totally disabled during active duty service, you may qualify for an annual property tax exemption on your principal primary residence, so your main home, right? If you're a surviving spouse or civil union domestic partner of an honorably discharged veteran who is rated 100% permanently and totally disabled during active duty service, then you may also qualify. And then it goes through some eligibility requirements and so forth. But the big thing here for you to know in this state is that they changed the wartime service requirement. So this is huge. So if you did not know, I hope you know now. And the state here is New Jersey. So New Jersey is just rocking it with this change. And I am happy to say that they did this. So with that, I'll go ahead and end it there. I'll throw the information in the description as well as the comments. Thanks again. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.